This is pretty much all business here.
As usual.
What's that?
I said, as usual. Yeah, so live right now. Okay, everyone. I know you guys are waiting on our main interaction pertaining to coalition. It's something that we definitely need to talk about. But I have my boss man here. Yeah. John Adams, it's someone that's, if you haven't met him, he's a businessman. He owns businesses, let me put it that way. And he's also doing great job in the community. Those of you who haven't met him today, you are going to see him. He's on some of our platforms, but because he talk little on the platform, so you never meet him. My name is Charles Kenan San. You can call me Bokiti. And I have my host. You are my,
I'm a
guest.
host.
Oh, you're going to be the host?
I will be the guest. I'm not going to take over your platform.
You want to be the
I might be interested in taking over the city, but I will be the guest in this instance.
Okay, so John Adams is going to be my guest, and we are going to talk about what is good in the community that needed to be done. Virtually a coalition. From him, if you don't know what coalition means, he is going to tell us what it means and what it is all about and what they are coming out to do in the community and why you have to embrace it whenever you hear from them. So to set the ball rolling, Mr. Adams, welcome to our network.
Thank you.
My pavilion, my small pavilion.
Yeah, I'm looking at Command Central, and you have it all set up. You know, when you go to these things, you wonder what you're going to get when you walk into a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you this is 100% on the ball. So
I hear that always, but I still want to go higher than this.
Well, we can't settle. We can't just we can't just be here.
Okay.
We've always got to be trying to move forward, which is one of the reasons that you and I have been talking off and on for a year about this community coalition. Okay?
Yep.
And I've been in the community in Fargo Moorhead since 1985. I came here as a college student. I left as a married man. Well, I didn't leave as a married man, but I stayed. I stayed because Fargo is a great community.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Minneapolis, and Minneapolis is a great community, despite what you see. And the one thing that I want to press upon people is that we don't need to pay attention to the media. The media doesn't tell us the truth always. Okay? And so part of the coalition is to help our people get the information that we need to move our communities forward. And so when I got here, there was only maybe 40% of what you see. And I'm talking about business, housing, opportunities. Okay? And that's for everyone.
Okay.
But since I've been here, I've seen the city grow enormously. Jobs abundant. Education is fantastic. But in our communities, we're not feeling that.
That's true.
Okay? We meet people every day, and you know this. You meet people every day that are struggling to get the things that they need. And that shouldn't happen in Fargo. And so it's something that in the community, I've been a mentor, I've been a coach, like you said, I'm a businessman, I'm on the radio. And when you attain a certain level of success, it almost feels like you should do more.
Definitely.
Okay? And so I've gotten to a point in my life where I look around me and I say, okay, I've worked hard for success, but there were people along the way that helped me get to where I need to be.
Yes.
Okay, they helped me understand how to move in society. Okay? I don't know about your listeners, but I grew up Black. Okay? My culture is way different than the culture that we exist in the United States.
But what makes it different, if I may ask?
So what makes it different is we hold family, commitment, and loyalty above everything.
Okay.
Okay. And when you walk into our society, a lot of times in the business climate and in the world at large, they don't have the same value system. So I see our people working at jobs where the employer isn't loyal. Okay. But they're afraid to move because they have a job.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you have to learn how to exist in that environment.
That's correct.
So if you don't know how to move in that environment, then you get stuck and you can miss opportunities. Okay. And I want to make this clear. It's not on society to understand our culture. It's not on society to understand our kids. Okay. It's on us to understand how to move within the system.
Okay.
Okay. So one of my sons is a PA, which is a physician assistant. The other one is an engineer. Okay. And I taught them that you have to be able to walk into a situation and be intelligent and be thoughtful and communicate in a way that you get the things that you need. Okay. Well, that's fine. But even along the way, there were bumps along the road. But the difference is because I've lived in this environment, I was able to counsel them and guide them so that they could be successful.
Hold on for a second. Do you think our time, comparing to today, the way you are telling me right now about what you advise your kids to be, do you think our time and today is kind of different, or because we all know how we grew up with, how dealing with our parents, or our parents dealing with us, comparing today that we have AI system or internet system that we didn't have it previously. What do you think is different from how we inculcating our kids that we need to work on it to make sure we be on the same level with them?
Well, first, we have the same values that we have.
Okay.
Okay. But we didn't have access to information that our kids have. So what ends up happening is, when we were growing up, we were about living life, enjoying what we have, being thankful. But with the advent of social media and everything, that's not the message that's given to our children.
Okay.
Got
it.
Have more, enjoy your life, but you don't hear the values of hard work and dedication. So what ends up happening is, if you are not parenting in the right way, your kids can get lost. They can get lost because they're listening to society instead of having those values. Now, unfortunately, what has happened is there are too many people that have to work so much. Okay. And a lot of people want to parent and give their kids their values, but if they're working 60 hours a week, that's time that you're not with your kids. Okay. I grew up with a mom and a dad. My kids grew up with a mom and a dad. That makes a huge difference because there's always that guidance. But that's not always the case in our society. So part of the community coalition is to gather the men in our community and say, hey, look, we need to help move our children forward. We need to address families that need that mentorship and that guidance. So creating a coalition now, we'll create a place where people that need that can come and say, hey, I have a son, he wants to do this, this, and this. Whether it's good or it's bad, it doesn't matter. Could you mentor him? Okay, you're a success, I'm a success. We need to pass that along. We need to find other successful men in the community. And I'll give you an example. How long have you been in this community?
Let me say 2017. Even though before then I've been coming here every year back and forth, but 2017 was the year that I made myself settle here in Fargo.
So 6-7 years.
Yeah.
You're pretty successful by all accounts, right? You own a store, you move within the Ghana community, the whole 9 yards. How come we have never met?
That's the question here.
This is the disconnect of our community, okay? I'm not hard to find, as you find out, right? If you ask around, people know who I am. But how is it that I know less than 5% of the minorities and immigrants in this town? Whereas in society at large, most successful people gravitate together and they know each other and they create a network by which to get things done. Okay? We don't have that network in our community. We're all live in these silos where we're doing our own thing, having our own business. The coalition is going to be designed to help successful people meet, integrate with each other. In other words, we have Nigerians, we have Somalians, we have Ghanans, we have African Americans, we have Native Americans, we have Hispanics. We're going to create our own network.
Definitely.
To create success. So to speak to your main question, our kids have access to information that they can't always sift through to get the right answer. Okay? And if we don't have somebody in the home to guide them, then they have to do what they think. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, I was a knucklehead. Okay? I thought I knew everything. Okay? But with the help of two good parents, I realized that I know nothing. And as I got older and got to college, I realized how much I didn't know. And even now at 59 years of age, I'm still learning and growing. So it's a process. But a community raised me. In Fargo, in my adult life, society helped me get to where I wanted to be, but I knew how to move within that framework. You know, I worked at Shields, and Shields is a wonderful place. You know, doing practically everything. You know, going and buying on the corporate level, helping out with the structure of the company. And I learned a lot in business. Okay, and those are the things that we have to pass on. For instance, you may have the answers to help your boss or your company move forward, but if you're not in a position where you're taken seriously, you have to bide your time. You have to put in the work so that people see that what you say is valuable.
Absolutely.
And a lot of our kids have great dreams, but you know what? They don't understand the effort that it takes to get it, and even more effort to keep it. See, when you're working and you have your head down, you're working hard, and when you get there, some people have a tendency to rest. And then they plateau and they go like this. Some of our young people think that if they just go to school, that's enough. Okay? But they don't understand that grades matter more than anything else.
Yes, of course.
Not their sports, not their entertainment. We have to get back to, they need to understand that they're there to get an education. Okay? And that's one thing that my wife and I, we stressed more than anything else. Be a good person, take care of your family, be a good person in the community, and get your education. Because without education in the United States, do people achieve without education? Absolutely they do. But if you don't have the proper education, it's a reason for somebody to say no. And one of my advice that I give when I was mentoring in the high schools was eliminate the no. When you meet somebody, eliminate their ability to tell you no. Always get to yes. So, with our children, what would cause teachers to tell them no? If they go into the classroom and they don't have the ability to sit there and learn, okay? Teacher, I need extra help. Well, you're not paying attention. No. Teacher, I think that I should be in an AP course. Well, I don't think that you study well enough. No. Okay? Our young people have to know how to do that.
That's true. They need, I was just discussing an issue pertaining to kids. Only yesterday, we were standing in front of the house, and everything we were talking about, you just brought everything out. And he's going to have a program which he told me it's also about whatever we were discussing. Now, in spite of everything you just came out with, let me ask you this question. What do you see as the most pressing issue facing the community right now?
Unity. Unity amongst our people. Okay? And for the past 3 months, I've met with no less than 30 African leaders in the community. I've met with Muslim leaders in the community. I've met with Hispanic leaders in the community. and we're all working for our communities, and we have the same issues: housing, issues with law enforcement, job placement, education of our young people in school. Those are the big four, okay? Well, I see you, I see your platform, I see everybody saying the same things that I am, but as separate entities, we get very little traction to get what we need for our communities, okay? And so what happens is we may have the Nigerians go to the city and ask for money and get it, okay? And here we are as Ghanaians over here saying, wait a minute, they got money, but we didn't get money. See, the way politics work is they will always take the largest group in a collective and give that money to the collective Nigerians, because they may be the largest population.
Which is not good.
But here's the problem. The city will say, we are meeting the needs of all Africans, even though they only gave to the Nigerians. And the Somalians are over here, they have nothing. The Ghanaians aren't getting what they need. That's our fault. Because I can tell you what they're giving the Nigerians is a drop in the bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to what they should give to our communities. And one thing that people have to understand, when they say we're going to meet the needs of minorities in this city, they are only talking about us as a group. Okay? The problem is we have over 30,000 minorities and immigrants in Fargo.
So what do you think what do you think the leaders or the community have to do to avoid the fact that Nigerians only will go to the city hall, Liberians only will go there, and maybe Ghanaians only will go there? What do you think will be the best solution for us to, like when we are going there as a group? What do we have to do?
That, first of all, that's the main point. Okay? When I grew up, everybody raised me in our community. It didn't matter the color. It didn't matter the gender. If I was making mistakes, everybody would help me realize that I'm making a mistake. Okay? What we need to do is we need to get viable leaders in each community that are identifying issues within our community and get with other leaders in other communities and say, are you seeing the same things? So school, employment, involvement with the government. Those are all three issues that any community is having, a minority community. And we know this because we talk to the people in the community. You get people in your store that talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's hungry or paying their rent or how to move seamlessly in society and not be bothered by the police, Well, these aren't issues that are only mine or yours. It's in everybody's community. So that's where we start. We look at the issues that we have in common, and we gather as a group and say, we want to attack these issues. So you asked me for the coalition outline, and I put it together. And for me, I think where we start is the mentoring and the education of our youth and our families in the community. So if you are a leader of the Ghanaian people, we need to get in the streets and we need to ask people, what are your issues? And pretty soon as a leader, you're going to find that you start finding similar conversation, right? So now you take notes on what your people have said, and then you call me, hey, Mr. Adams, you've talked to your people, what are the issues? Now pretty soon we're going to see that we have some of the same issues. That's where we start. And the biggest issue is the way that our kids are treated in the school system, okay? Our people are not like other people, okay? We are expressive. Our kids are expressive. But in an education setting, expressiveness is not rewarded, okay? So our kids laugh freely. They joke in the hallways, okay? Maybe loudly. That's frowned upon in the educational system. Well, the reason it's frowned upon is because they don't understand that this is how we express. So our children end up in situations where they have to go see the principal, or they have to go to the office, Okay? It's a very subtle thing. Now, if the people in the school understand, hey, look, culturally we are different. Have you ever been to an American church, like a Lutheran church or a Catholic church? It's very quiet. They sing very quietly.
It's true.
When they minister to people, they give speeches. It's almost like being in college listening to a speech. Now, contrast that with our churches, where there is singing and there is loud praise. This is cultural differences. Okay? Well, unfortunately, the people that control the resources, we have to first learn that they don't have to be expressive. Because they own the system, they can run it the way they see fit. But that's not okay. These teachers, the administrators, these counselors, they have to understand our children. And when they don't, it affects our children's mind. Our children begin to think that they're doing something wrong. They come home and they're joyful, they go to school and they're subdued, and they have negativity upon them.
So do you think our kids are confusing?
They're very confused. Okay? Now, if you're raised in the right environment, what happens is, for instance, my kids, I always taught them, you don't go to school to make friends. You don't go to school to play sports. You go to school to get an education. Anything beyond that is unreasonable. And so my children were wonderful students. But because they understood that they don't get anything if they don't follow the program. Okay? If you want nice shoes, if you want a cell phone, if you want a car, education first. Because I understand that without education, our kids will not be taken seriously in the community. And it's not just our kids, but anybody. If you lack education, you're going to be limited in what you're able to do. That's but correct. More so for us because of the way society views us. So we have to let our kids know we think they're special. Society does not. Okay? You've heard it said we have to be better than other people at all times.
Wow. So if I'll go to my next, specifically, what are the goals have, let's say, what specific goals have your coalition or our coalition, let me put out.
Yes.
Our coalition set for the next year, if only the leaders will compromise?
Well, we're not going to wait for the leaders to compromise.
Okay.
Okay?
I like that.
This coalition is going to the people. Okay? Apologies to any African leaders out there, any leaders in my community, but this coalition is going to be of the people. So get ready, African nation. Get ready, because you're going to see us and our representatives at your community events, in your churches, but not as long as you guys are in church. Holy smokes. But we're going to go to the people, okay? And we're going to gather information from the people over this next year. And we're going to try to hit issues within the community, okay? That's how we're going to start. We're not going to wait and say, well, when we get the structure in place, then we can really make plans. We're past the structure page, okay? We have real needs in our community, and so the way to address that over the next year is to be at functions and let people know there's a voice for you. And right now, I have 4 people committed to this coalition, okay? My hope is to have an army of people from every community trying to move this thing forward, trying to get what we need, because right now they're looking to eliminate DEI. And I just talked to Dr. Hogan yesterday, and the mayor and the city commission told him he may want to start looking for another job because they're going to change or eliminate DEI. Now, for those of you that don't know, Dr. Hogan has been an instrumental voice in the city government on our behalf. and they're eliminating his position. That is the talk. And so they've kept that under wraps. And 2 weeks from now, I'm having the commissioner on my show to explain. So that's Talking the Town with John Adams, 11 to noon on WDAY Radio. And I hope the people that are listening call into that show so that the commissioner understands that Dr. Hogan has the support of the community, and he has worked tirelessly for the past 2 years. He has been our voice, okay? And without that voice, we have no influence in city government. And when we don't have influence in city government, we won't have access to resources, okay? The government is very difficult to navigate. And if you don't understand how to move within the system, you get frozen out. You don't get answers, or things take too much time. And I can tell you as a business leader in the community, because I know where to get the answers, they don't talk to me the way they talk to regular citizens, okay? Somebody who maybe doesn't have the knowledge of what department to go to get their needs met, okay? And they're effectively eliminating that. So that's something that we as minorities and people of color, we need to address that.
Definitely.
And so that's where that's the plan right away. Okay. The yearly plan is first of all to identify where we start. Okay. And I said we start with the schools because right now, a lot of our kids are not getting the education they should get. We need to start holding people accountable in the school system. And I'll give you a story.
Okay.
My son, when he was young, he was in a classroom, and I picked him up from school and I asked the teacher, how did it go today? And she said, well, Christian did pretty well, but I had to redirect him on a few occasions. He was talking to other students when he should have been working. And I said, well, he didn't have his work done? Well, I guess he did have his work done, but he was preventing other kids from getting their work done because he had finished. And I said, well, didn't you think to give him more work or give him something to keep him occupied if he had finished ahead of everybody else? Well, no, I guess I didn't. That was a very telling thing. First, she wanted to let me know that my son wasn't following the rules. She showed me that she didn't understand that this kid was bright, and that since he finished so much sooner than everybody else, he did what kids do. He started chatting. He was expressive, so he had to be redirected. It's a very subtle thing. She should have identified this kid as a very bright kid and had a contingency plan, because it wasn't like she had just met him. He had been in school for close to 6 months. Little things like that. And of course, we had a talk when he got home because he was preventing other people from learning, which is a no-no in my house. Okay. I went back to the teacher and I said, now, I'm not telling you how to do your job, but the way you presented it to me is that my child was a problem in the classroom today. Okay. And to me, it seems like you were the problem because you didn't recognize that this kid needed something to occupy his time. You could have given him anything to do to keep him occupied while the other students caught up to him. But instead, you put the weight of negativity on him, making him think that he wasn't a good kid, when in fact, he was exceptional. There's little things like that that happen every day in our schools. It happens every day in our society. Our kids are out playing or doing whatever they do.
Well, Adams, from what you just said, there's a movie. I'm going to look for that movie and send that movie to you. When I was in New York, my last trip to New York, and this my friend said, there's a movie they want me to watch. Well, it's all about whatever you are saying, a kid, parent, and teacher. And the parents think their kid is not academically good as to their expectation. And so they eventually send that boy to a village. And this boy can draw. He can look at you and draw. But the way he do things, the parent don't understand.
Mhm.
And so they sent him to a village. So a teacher came from nowhere. From the way he teaches, I didn't watch the video or the movie, but I started telling them that we have teachers who are visual teachers and we have kids who are visual learners. So if these two people meet, then you know that your child is a brilliant person.
Mhm.
But if your child who is visual learner meets someone who is not visual teacher, he can't learn nothing, he can't study anything, and you end up saying this child knew nothing.
Yes.
And that's how it happens. I told my teacher who taught me at my second year when I was in middle school, I met her during my trip to New York. We went to New Jersey, I met her, and we were discussing these issues. And I told her, I went to Ghana 2017, I went to the school I completed, and I told the headmaster and the teachers that this is what I experienced when we were kids.
Mhm.
The teachers don't like some of the kids who are not academically good, but they should understand the fact that maybe they haven't met the right teachers to help them. So that is why when a child starts from somewhere like primary school, he or she will not be good, but when he or she moves to the next level, he or she is going to meet someone who will help her to understand everything he needed to.
Mhm.
Anyway, moving forward, from all the goals coalition is setting in the community, I'll come out to those of the executives who are working together with you and those of the leaders who are not. We are not looking for only the leaders. Anyone who have the enthusiasm to help build this coalition is what we're looking for.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Not only that,
Mhm.
but we want the leadership to come from the community.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
We're only facilitating what we hope to come. Okay.
Mhm.
And under the coalition, everyone will have a voice. That's the beauty of it. Is as I go through this process and I talk to people, there are tons of people that want to be involved. Okay. But they're limited by their jobs or their children.
Mhm.
Okay. Whatever you can bring to the coalition is of value. And that's what I want people to understand. You don't have to be a business person. You don't have to be a leader in the community. You just have got to want better for our communities. Okay? That's what it comes down to. That's how things get done. An idea is made, and then you get people who feel like you do. Now, unfortunately, this coalition is coming about because we are not getting our needs met.
Mhm.
Okay? We cannot go to the government. We don't have the resources to do what we need to do in our community. We need to teach all of our people how to get that. For instance, if we go back to DEI, we need to teach our people why Dr. Hogan is important.
Correct.
Okay? Now, for you and I, it's easy almost because we understand.
Mhm.
We've been in the system. We're business people. We understand these things. But the everyday person that's just working to provide for their family may not have the means to do so. That's where mentoring comes in. The idea that we're going to teach people how to move seamlessly in society, despite society. See, that's the other problem. As I said, society doesn't have to acclimate to us.
Mhm.
We have to acclimate to society.
Good.
So what does that mean? Okay? When people come to me for a job,
Mhm.
and I have minorities that come to me for a job, hey, are you hiring? You know, they don't come in and dress like they want a job.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Okay? And it's something that's curious to me because when I got my first job at Shields, the sporting goods store, I walked in a three-piece suit. Okay? You know why?
No.
Because I wanted them to know that I was about business. Okay? The number of our youth that come to me for a job and they have shorts on and a t-shirt, dirty shoes, okay? Not speaking in a way that tells me they're for real and they want a job, that's not their fault. Okay? That falls squarely on the parenting. Now, it used to be that we had parents in the home to teach these kids these basics. But in this world today, everybody's working. Okay? Everybody's busy. So some of these things don't get taught for whatever reason. And the reason doesn't matter. The point is that we need to make sure that these kids are being taught.
Mm-hmm.
You want a job, look like you want a job. Mm-hmm. Okay? When you go in, you learn how to interview. These are the things. And I see it every day. I listen to kids that talk about they want to be millionaires but don't have an idea how to do their finances. I had a young lady I was mentoring. She wanted to be an attorney with a C average for grades. And it was a very harsh reality for her when I told her, you will have a hard time even getting into college, mm-hmm. much less law school. Where does it come from that these kids have unrealistic goals? It's because they haven't met people like you and I that have done the work. Whatever their sphere of influence is, these young people haven't been taught how to move seamlessly to get the things that they want in the right way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it puts our young people at a disadvantage. So the coalition will be designed to meet people where they're at, whether they're highly intelligent or where they're struggling. The idea is that the coalition is going to give them the tools that they need to be productive.
Hold on for a second. If you are in the community right now listening to us or watching us, maybe you've had coalition team in Fargo more here, let me put it that way, but you don't know much about it. Now we are on our network right now, and I'm here with John Adams, work with WDay TV. If you have any question, you can call 662-609-3624. If you don't have any questions, you just pay attention to everything he's saying. We have some leaders in the community right now working hard to make sure this coalition be on 8 feet and to help the community members. We have so many members who are going through a lot of situation that is unbearable. That is one of the things that he just mentioned. Now, who are the leaders you're working with at the moment?
I have you. I have a young lady named Rochelle.
Okay.
I want to say she's Nigerian. And then I have a young man named Armando.
Oh, okay.
He's been in the community for over 30 years. He's part of the Hispanic community.
Okay.
And I have myself.
Okay.
And I have talked to a number of African leaders. But for whatever reason, the communication isn't there.
It's not there.
No. And I have a rule. If I call you, I'm only going to call you twice.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you have to show me that you are on the same page and that you want the same things. And like I've said, we've sat in meetings down at City Hall with Dr. Holcomb with African leaders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We went to the Kelly Armstrong when he was running for governor,
mm-hmm.
and there were over 30 minority and immigrant leaders in that meeting, and we created a database phone database where people could get in contact with me. Since that meeting, 2 leaders have reached out to me. Even though all of them said they wanted to be involved and help their communities, only 2. So to me, either they don't see the coalition as a value,
mm-hmm.
or they don't think we can get it done. Okay? And if that's the case, that's fine. But I do know this.
But from what you just said, either they think we cannot get it done, or they think it's not something valid. Mm-hmm. Why do you have to have that thought? That's my question. Because the first day I met you, we discussed about it. I embraced it because I knew for sure this is a good thing. So I have to put all my support to it. So if someone is not comprehend whatever we are doing, what can we do?
We move forward. We find people that do understand that we need to be strong as a community and that we need to be united.
So do you think it is one of the challenges we should anticipate in future?
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, when you have power, okay, people are very, very unlikely to share it. Either they've had bad experiences, okay, or they like doing things the way they do it and they're afraid that they will lose their voice. And there's also some jealousy, you know? I mean, I've talked to Nigerians that feel like their voice isn't heard, you know? Somalians feel like they're working harder than everybody else, so, you know, they should get this because they're working hard. And from what I've seen, nobody's working harder than anybody else.
No.
We're working in different directions.
Absolutely.
We're doing what we can do for our communities. And I'm sure these leaders, you know, for me, they are making headway in the things that they want. For instance, a lot of the leaders that I have met are business owners. So when they go to talk to the government, it's about business. How can we advance business? Okay? And I say to them, your business is founded in your community. You make money off the people in your community. How come you're not the voice of your community? Okay? That's the bottom line, is if you were profiting off the people and you fancy yourself a leader and you are not speaking on behalf of the people so they can also achieve, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
What are you really doing? And that happens again and again because they get comfortable. You know how hard it was for you to get to where you are.
Oh, yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy, right? And they're afraid somehow they might lose something. But you know what, Charles? Here's what I've learned. If you are a good person and your heart is pure purpose, it doesn't matter. People will gravitate towards you. People will move in the right way. Okay? Now, my hope is with the coalition that we get a group that people see that we're selfless, that it's not about us. Okay? And I'm going to tell you now, I'm getting ready to retire in the next 2-3 years. Okay? And I can ride off into the sunset and not be affected by anything that happens. I've done it well enough, and my wife has done it well enough, and we're very secure economically. Okay? We're in pretty good health. So this community involvement thing for me is something that I've always had this belief. When you get to a point where you can affect change and you can do things for other people, you have an obligation. That's based on my Christian principles. Okay? It's based on what Jesus Christ has taught us. Okay? So in that, I cannot be successful and sit back and live my life the way I do without giving back to the community. And so my goal is to create a coalition that gives back. That first of all gives people hope that they can get to where we are.
Yeah, that's not one of my
They can be successful. But there's some people out here that they see other people's success and they get jealous.
Yeah.
Or they talk bad about people that are successful. You know?
I read a book, and this millionaire, they asked him, why do you want everybody around you to be a millionaire? He answered, he gave only 2 answers. And those 2 answers, I remember, was if he broke tomorrow, same people around him, because he tried to help everybody to become a millionaire. So you being someone who wants to help everybody around you, when you broke, the same people are going to lift you up. And secondly, no one is going to bring their problems to you because everybody is well-to-do. Only 2 answers he gave, and these are the answers. And it is true. From everything you are saying right now, if we're able to help everybody to be in the level we are right now, I call it total economic well-being.
Yes.
But when Adams is rising, then someone is trying to put. You remember what I told you the other day? I think I said it to you or Terry Hogan. There is two guys, one is father and one is a son, and they were trying to break coconut from.
Yes.
I told you,
Mm-hmm.
when the father is going, the son is trying to bring him down. When the son is going, the father will bring him down. They were there until two people came from nowhere, and they helped each other. One stepped on one shoulders and had a chance to bring about 10 within a short possible time. This is teamwork. And that's what we need in a community. That is what we need, leaders. And the members, what we are doing right now is not only the leaders. If you are a leader and you are not ready for this coalition, we don't need you. We need members who are ready. I keep on saying that we need leaders who are not corrupt, who don't think about themselves, but who want the prosperity of the people.
Mm-hmm.
The well-being of the people in the community. I keep on saying that. I never stop saying this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's work as a team. This is our leader, the coalition
Wow.
team.
I wouldn't call myself a leader. Okay?
How would you call yourself?
I'm not going to put myself above anybody else.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a teamwork. Is that how you want to put
It's
it?
a team.
Okay.
It's a team. I'm just a facilitator.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to make things happen. Okay. And I have my ideas. And the funny thing is about ideas,
Mm-hmm.
when you start talking and people share the same thoughts, ideas become very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's how I go to Mandela,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
and you look at his idea for a better South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Years it took to achieve that. Okay. And he was working in the worst possible system. But faith in God, okay, and good people around him.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very selective in who's going to be in this coalition for one simple reason. I'm looking for people that are selfless. Okay? I'm looking for people that they don't care what they get out of the coalition. They just recognize it as important. Those are the people that we want. And it doesn't matter whether you have money or you have economic prosperity, because I affected change as a young person, as a college student, as a poor person after college,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because I recognize the importance of, if I do something good, it makes me feel good, okay? And when you get successful, I'm going to give you guys a little game here. When you get successful and money doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
okay? It's not enough to have money, okay? If you're not grounded, if you don't have a good support network, if you don't have people around you that are doing good things, it doesn't matter how much you have, it's hard to maintain a positive outlook.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I have found is that in the past couple of years, well, I would say the past 5 years, between coaching and mentoring in the high schools and meeting people that need help and being able to help people, has been the greatest reward that you can have. And every day in my life, I try to do something that helps someone. And it may just be, I'm at the store and I see a cashier who's maybe not having a good day. And I smile and I say, thank you. And I try to leave that person with a smile. Okay? Just something as simple as that. Now, that's a very small idea.
Mm-hmm.
Make people smile. Just leave people happy that they met you. But that's the start of something. You don't know what's going on with that person on the other side.
Yep.
But maybe that positivity is something that moves them forward, helps them see the world as positive. And nowhere has that been more influential than my work that I've done with the youth in the community. I had a young man at the Juneteenth celebration he said, "Hey, Mr. Adams, how are you doing?" I didn't recognize this kid because when I got him, he was in high school. He was a sophomore.
So do you know one thing? You know, kids recognize old ones than the old one recognize the kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know about that, right?
What's that?
Like, you see, he recognized you so fast.
Yes.
But you didn't recognize it because you were older than him, and you are older than him right now.
Yes. And he had changed. He had become a man. And he's a successful photographer in the community. And he told me, he said, "Mr. Adams," he said, you said something one time in class. The only thing that prevents you from achieving is you. That you can have whatever you want if you put your head down and work, and you're a good person. And he's very successful. He said, never forgot that. And he said, "I've always wanted to thank you." And even now, I almost feel like tearing up because...
You told him that, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Because you know what? Somebody told it to me. Okay? All this wisdom that you're hearing is not John Adams just thinking of all these things. The coalition is founded in the fact that there were men in our community that gave back, that were successful. This is something. In Minneapolis, my mother and father were influential in the city, and they helped establish a group called TCYC, and that was what you would call work-based learning. And they worked with our people in community. And so my dad was a minister, and one thing that my dad and my mom taught me was, you must be of service to the community. Okay? You should never be a liability for your family or society. Okay? That's powerful.
Yep.
And I taught my kids, we're Adamses. As you see, I'm bigger than the average person. And I tell them we are protectors of the weak. We defend people that can't defend themselves. We befriend people that need help because that is what required by God. He did not make us strong and intelligent to turn our eye to things that are wrong. Okay? And I said it on my show. These days, we are afraid to look at a young man and say, "You know what, young man, you shouldn't do that." Because we're afraid that he might say something that we don't like.
That's correct.
But guess what? Where I come from, I'm obligated. I'm obligated as a black man in this community to help all people everywhere, to help move them forward, because society is not going to do it. Okay?
Yep.
All of you people out there that are waiting for the government to do something, the help is not coming. And they have shown it since we have been here. We have been oppressed for over 200 years in this country. And they give us scraps, and people are happy about that. But you know what? There are enough people in this community where we don't have to accept that. But we have to be united in this thing.
That's correct.
Because if we show any weakness or any division within our communities, society will grow a wedge between us. And as we get going, people will come to you and they will offer you things to shake things up. "Hey, Mr. Ansa, we're willing to give you a studio. We're willing to give you this, this, and this." And when you say yes, then they will tell you what they want in return. But we have to be careful of people that walk in our communities. Right now, we had an election. And these politicians came in our community and made promises. Okay? And the very commissioners that sit on the seat right now came to our communities and asked for our votes. And when we voted for them, they did nothing. They did nothing. Okay? And they went so far as to tell us that they are going to do away with the things that we value. Okay? And I almost forgot that piece. We are going to create a voting block in the city of Fargo where we will decide the next 2 commissioners that are on the city commission.
Yes.
We have enough people in Fargo Moorhead where we can determine the outcome of an election.
That's correct.
So I talked about educating our youth. The second thing is educate our people to vote for people that have our interests in mind. Okay? We didn't do that this election. If we had voted the right way, Dr. Hogan and DEI would still be in place.
Yes.
That's not the city's fault That's our fault because we weren't a collective unit and we weren't united. Okay? And they say in African leaders that I talk about, we had 3 meetings to discuss this before the election. Yes, we will go to our people. We will make sure that we vote. We're going to vote the right way so we get the right people in office. Our voter turnout was so poor that a city commissioner got elected with 5,000 votes. Okay? There are over 30,000 minorities and immigrants in the city. If we unite, if we get more than 5,000 people to vote for the people that we want in office, now things change. Now we will see that economic prosperity will come our way because we have people that control the money, okay, that control the way things are given from the government, okay? Because I can tell you there are other people in this community that are doing very well, because they understand that. We need to understand that, okay? It's not about marching. It's not about protesting. It's about doing the business of our people. That's the coalition. It's about us finally saying we've had enough. Okay?
Thank you very much. My last questions. How does the coalition working in collaboration with the organization in the community? How is it,
So this is an interesting question because I think that anybody who's in the community trying to do things for their people cannot be minimalized. We can't marginalize these leaders that I'm talking about. They have a place in the community. It's not the place that I think they should be, but that doesn't matter because they're doing something. We can't minimalize them because they don't move the way we want them to. We have to understand why they're moving like that and get them to understand that they should be a part of the collective, be a part of the whole, because we're stronger as a group, okay? If I want to poke you in the chest and harm you, if I use one finger, I'm going to be ineffective. But if I blow up my fist, I can have an impact. So right now we have leaders that are all fingers on a hand. We need to all come together so we can create a fist and do the things that we need to do. So the idea is to identify these groups, identify these leaders that align with our vision, have meetings with them, as well as one of the biggest impacts that we can have is to go into our churches. Our people are very spiritual.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You want to find our people? Young people might be the club, okay? But we're going to go to young people where they are. See, I believe that you meet people where they're at, okay? And you give them the message.
Wow.
And then you go from there.
Wow.
Okay, so we have some people that we might pass on the street. Have you heard about the coalition? We're here to work for you. We may go into the churches and not stand in the pulpit because you don't do that. But just ask to address the congregation about what we're trying to do. And I can guarantee you, when you go into a church and you say, we are here for you, there's going to be at least one person there that's going to say, I like what you're saying. But more often than not, there are going to be a ton of people. But a lot of people don't know where to get the information.
That's true. The
coalition is designed to give people the information. Community meetings, that's where we're going to start.
So listen, with the leaders you just mentioned, or the executives you mentioned, I think I will not say this here, but after everything I'll discuss with you about networking and collaboration, how we have to do things to make sure we reach out there, because right now it's like doing business without advertising. It's like working in the dark. We also have more things to do to make sure we get to the people. You just mentioned one, get into the church. Going to the church, talking to the members one-on-one, because passing through the leaders, sometimes I feel like they are not telling them.
It does not fall down. Okay?
Yeah.
The message from the top is not reaching the ground.
No, that's how I see it.
Okay?
I mean, I'm not afraid of saying it, It is the right, because sometimes you meet one-on-one with people discussing this issue with them, and things we are planning, they say they don't know anything about it.
Well, like I said, you've been here for 7 years and I just met you.
Yeah.
Well, we have to go to the Microsofts. We have to go to the Shields. We have to go to various entities where our people gather. You know, in Fargo, a lot of our people in the healthcare industry, Sanford Hospital, the nursing homes, the assisted living, we have to find out where our people are. We have to go there. We have to go to the parks and we have to engage our young people. We have to let them know that there's more to life than what they think, you know, and that this is the one thing I'll say. In spite of everything that we talk about and the issues that we have, there's no better place to be than where we are right now because it's about opportunity. Okay? You can be poor in the United States one day. And the moment that you decide not to be poor and you get an idea, that thing can grow so that you can become self-sufficient and prosperous. And I say that because I came from a family where both of my parents were disabled at an early age. By the time I was 6, there were no working parents in the house. My dad was a minister. And as you know, ministers, well, he didn't get paid well. Some ministers do. But I think that my father and his ministry was so pure that some of the other leaders in the community, they weren't willing to do what needed to be done. Okay? And he grew his church the best he could. But you know, when you start telling people the truth, there are going to be people out there that don't want to hear it.
Oh yeah,
You know, there are people that avoid me now because they know. So I'm on the board of Dynasty Elite Athletic, and I've reached out to the community to ask for donations and things like this. And people that have promised things have not come through. And I see these people in the community, and they move quickly away because they know they made a promise that they didn't follow through with. So I'm going to end with this.
Okay.
This is the time to act. Okay. Our goal is within 2 years, we identify leaders in the community that we can put in places of power. And that's the city commission. Okay. We're not going to get on these boards that they have, you know, where they take our best and brightest and they ask, what does your community need? And then when we tell them, nothing happens. Okay. We are looking to put people in a position that they can affect change. Because if you're not in the house, you can't eat.
No.
If you're not in the position to decide where and what, who gets what, you get what you get. And right now we're getting what we get. And not what we should get as Americans, not as we should get as people in this society. They have no problem taxing us. But then when it comes down to sharing that tax base, where's the money? It's not in our communities, right? And I don't care what anybody says. You know, I tell young people, I have my niece, she was working in environmental services. Meaning that she's a crusader. And she had started law school and she stopped. And she called me and she was asking for a donation. And I said, look, here's the deal. I learned a long time ago that in order to affect change, you have to have the means to do so. Okay? So I told her, I said, imagine if you went back to law school and you got your degree. And you're making $100,000, $200,000 a year, you wouldn't have to ask anybody for anything. And you could take that money and put it exactly where you want to put it. And as you grow your power base, you can affect other people of your economic means to give likewise.
Sure.
Well, here's what we have to do. We have to grow our people so that we can provide for our own communities. Okay? So that young people, I've always said, we need a multicultural center in this city. Where can people go of color Or where can immigrants go where they know they're going to get information, whether it's jobs, housing, dealing with law enforcement? That doesn't exist in Fargo.
No.
That doesn't, we had a young man that was arrested and detained for 4 hours. Okay? And he called me and he got nowhere with the police of the city. And the minute that I talked to a lieutenant in the police department, the ball got rolling, all the charges were dropped. He didn't have any idea what he should do. But because he knew me, what he was referred to me, I was able to help him move seamlessly.
You see?
That's what I'm asking of the coalition. That's what I'm saying we need in the community.
Wow. Members and viewers, I mean, coalition is a very strong thing which we are going to work together to make sure the network works. We are going to get our Facebook page. We are going to get all the network pages. Then they will know that we are serious. We are coming. Like, should I say a lion? Because there are, apart from whatever we are saying and the fact that the leaders are not, seeing the good things about, the coalition, the members. When the members embrace it, I think, because we are leader, I don't think wherever you are going to be there permanently. Because if you are not helping your members, tomorrow someone else will be there to take your seat. So we need to work hard.
That's an interesting point, Charles.
Yeah.
We have a lot of leaders that the people don't believe in. And when people don't believe in leadership, they act in their own best interest, good or bad. Okay? We need to have leaders that people believe in.
Believe them, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You have to be pure at cause. And so, one man cannot make it go. 2 men cannot make it go. Okay? We have a bunch of leaders in this community, but what have we gotten? So can you really call yourself a leader?
No.
Because a leader leads people. And so to all of you out there that fancy yourself leaders, it may be time to look inward and say, what am I really leading? What am I really doing? Am I acting in the interest of all, or acting in the interest of my own self-interest? It has to be addressed. And the one thing that you'll never hear me do is I'm not going to badmouth people that choose not to be involved. Okay? I don't understand their situation in life. I don't understand why they're moving the way they move. So I would never say that these guys that profess themselves as leaders are moving in bad faith. They're doing what they know what to do. And maybe that's all they know.
Okay. This is stereo. John Adams.
What's that?
I'm going to end the whole thing, but I'm trying to let the community understand why we are here today. I think you've heard from the horse's mouth and everything we are doing as a coalition team. We are working hard and we are not going to hesitate. We are not going to stop because we know whatever we are doing is the right thing to do. And so if you're a leader or if you're a community member listening to me, wherever you hear coalition team in Fargo here, don't forget the fact that the coalition team is there for you. Whatever you cannot do, like whatever he just said, that someone was arrested and he has to call him. What about you? Who doesn't know anyone? So if the coalition is there, don't forget that the coalition is there for you. And that is why you have to embrace it. But before we go, can you tell us all what you are doing as a businessman? Maybe someone may need your services.
Okay. So I own Adams Window Cleaning, hence the shirt. There it is. We clean commercial and residential properties. We do windows. Okay. I also have a small business consulting business where if you have a business idea, I can take you from concept to grand opening. So part of the coalition is to educate people how to become business leaders.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay.
Okay. And the third is I have a wholesale tobacco company, cigar company where I sell cigars.
Wow.
So, and I'm also on the radio. I'm the host of Talk of the Town with John Adams on WDAY, Wednesdays 11 to noon. And a lot of what you hear me talk about is the very things that we talked about today, positivity in the community. The fact that Fargo is a great place to live and work, regardless of your race or gender or anything like that. I do tackle some tough issues. Like right now, we're going to have a conversation about DEI. Okay, on this next radio show, I'm going to have Commissioner Pepcorn on the show to talk about why the city is moving the way that they're moving. You know, why they don't see value. And I would ask everyone to call into that show whether you support DEI or not. But let's let the leaders in this community know that we are no longer going to accept them ignoring our needs. And that's exactly what's happening when you defund DEI. So that's what I'm working on. In addition to, I'm a golfer. I wasn't very good.
I'm going to join you guys one day. I was thinking about it today. You know?
I wasn't very good this weekend. Boy, man, they wore me out. But I'm an okay golfer. You know, and in addition to that, my wife is an attorney down at the Vogel Law Firm. And like I said, I have 2 wonderful sons. And I say faith, family, and community in that order in my house. And so I hope that this has been informational. If people want to reach out to me, my phone number is 701-261-7312. If you want to be a part of the coalition, if something we said here resonates with you, don't hesitate to call. And I can tell you all that I never get in the bed before midnight. So if there's a need that you have, I will work to help you get what you need or advise you or counsel or whatever it is. If I can't do it, I will just tell you I can't do it.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for allowing me to be.
Oh yeah, you know.
I'm excited because Dr. Ansa has a large reach in the community.
Oh yeah, we have to do so because we're doing this with a passion we have, with enthusiasm. I love to do things like it. You said so many things that, you know, sometimes when you do good to people, you feel so excited, you know, because you want to see transformation in others.
Right.
That's all, and that's what we are. You know, thank you very much for coming, and we're going to see you here today. Will not be the last time we see you here. We have to see you here another time. You know, thank you.